Welcome back guys, this is Shrikant. I have 10 plus year of experience in database design, development and troubleshooting. I work on a different domain like POS, point of sale, then SNOP, supply and operational planning, e-commerce and oil and gas field. In my career, I work on a different project where I use the SQL, and that's the reason I'm going to start a series on a SQL. So let's start. So what is SQL? SQL is a kind of language which basically used for managing, manipulating the relational databases. So what is relational databases? Point number one. Relational databases are those databases which follows the ACID properties, or simply we can say RD, which follows the RDBMS, right? So any relational database or any database which is basically in the market which follows ACID property, we call it as the RDBMS or the relational databases. Perfect. Then let's start. What is SQL? People pronounce it as a SQL, or some people pronounce it as SQL. Both are fine. But what is the long form? Structured query language. Perfect. Then what is the purpose? So it enables users to interact with the databases to store, retrieve, and manipulate the data. As simple as, right? So this is a language which basically used to retrieve and manipulate and the storing the data. Then what SQL can do? SQL can do many things. I have listed down few of the things, like it can execute the queries. Queries are something which we are going to learn, but for just simplicity, select star from table. So that kind of query we can run, or multiple thing we can perform on the database. Then we can retrieve the data. Let's say you have the data which basically store on the database, which basically you can retrieve with using select statement. Perfect. Then once you have the data, you might need to load few more record. Then you can go with the insert. Once you have the data, then you might need to update the data. Then you can go with the update command. Then once you have the data, you might need to delete it, right? So you may go with the delete command. Then you can also create the table, you can also create the procedure, views, trigger and many more. Lot of things we can perform, like security stuff also we can perform, which user can see the data, which user can access the data, like that, right? So lot of things we can do perform with the SQL. Then these are the the basic syntax, just to you guys to make you familiar with the SQL. So if I talk about the select, so what would be the syntax? So syntax would like select, then the multiple column name which are I require separated by the comma, or if I need all, then just simply use a star. Then from, then the table name where basically, and then condition. So I want to filter some data based on some condition, so I can go with a where clause. Perfect. Now I'm going to I want to, I know I have the table and I want to load the data. So what could be the syntax is very simple, like insert into table name. This could be my first statement. Then I must pass what are the different column I need to pass. So let's say column 1, column 2, and then what are the different values. So for this is a one line code, and if you have single value, you can go with that. There are multiple way we can write the insert statement that we will be going to talk when we will discuss about the insert. Perfect. Next, update statement. For update statement, our syntax should be like update, then table name, then set the column name and the new value which you want to update, and the condition which records you want to update. Same thing with the delete. So if you see the syntax, delete from table name, right? This is common. Where condition will represent which data you want to delete. Perfect. Now let's talk about this one, SQL in action. So for example, now you will learn how to write a query, and you have written the query like select star from employees where department is equal to same. This is what the query will look like, and this is now you have the table, let's say original employee table. So this is the data you have. So you can see there are 4 record, and how many columns are there? There are basically 6 columns. The first column is called as employee ID, then second is first name, third is last name, department, position and salary. For every record represent, this is a single employee. So for employee whose name is John Doe, is basically having employee ID is 1, the department is sale, he belongs to the department called as a sales, then position is sales representative and salary is 50,000, right? And likewise we have 4 more employees, and this is the data. Then I am going to write a query. I want to see all the data where a specific department, let's just say I want to see all data only for the department where it belongs to sales. So if I write a query like that, I can get the result like this. You can see at the bottom query reason. So I got all the rows, but the difference is basically it filter based on the department, where the department is equal to sales. Perfect. Very simple. Next, where to use SQL. As I said, there are multiple relational databases like SQL Server, MS Access, Oracle, Sybase, Informix, and Postgres, MySQL, right? So there are multiple open source databases, or multiple relational databases which follows the RDBMS or the ACID rules. Now in this case, so if I talk about SQL Server, so basically Microsoft has provided their RDBMS product and they named it as a SQL Server. Same thing, Oracle also provided their the database product called as the Oracle. Sybase also has, then Postgres also has, right? MySQL, and there are a few which are basically open source. Open source basically means which we don't need to pay, or we can get it in free of cost, like MySQL, like that, right? Perfect. Then where I can use this SQL, or where this SQL can be applicable. So what are the different application? So in the business, I want to see the report, or I want to analyze the data, right? Or I want to do the data manipulation. So in the business, SQL will be very useful. If you know the SQL, you can just pass the queries and you can get the data. Same thing in the web development. If you want to perform some kind of web development, right, and you want to retrieve the data, so what you can do, you can use any RDBMS application or database, and simply just integrate with that. You can just get the data. For the data analysis also, for example, you have large data set, and from that large data set you want to analyze something, so SQL will be very useful, correct? Then application development also, this will be very useful. Then what are the benefit of SQL? So standardization, first thing, widely recognized and supported. So SQL has been widely accepted and it is basically supported by most of the RDBMS software. Then flexibility, handle various data manipulation tasks, like as I said, insert, delete, and all these tasks it can be flexibly handled. Efficiency, a large data can also be written very fast. So this is for the optimization. Then scalability, so suitable for both and the large databases also. It's not like if you have the large data set it will break down the query. No, it's not like that. Then in the coming series we are going to use a product which basically provided by the Microsoft, and that is SQL Server Management Studio. You can go with the MySQL, you can go with the Oracle, you can go with any relational database, or you can go with Postgres also. But I have installed MS SQL, so I'm going to give demo and everything on a MS SQL. So let's begin. As this is the intro video, I'm going to stop. In the coming video, I'm going to start with the technical stuff. So this series will be fully focused on technical stuff, right? And I hope it will be beneficial for you guys. If you guys really want this and like our first intro video, please don't forget to comment over the comment section. I'll really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a great day ahead.